Hi, I'm Bob, and welcome to Between the Sheets, where we look at Microsoft Excel and related technologies. Of all the Excel topics I teach, lookup tables are the #1 most requested feature people have. The Xlookup function lets you use Excel kind of like a mini database, so you can query information from a dataset. It replaces the older Vlookup and Hlookup functions, though they're still available for backwards compatibility. But the Xlookup function is easier to use than they were, it's more powerful, and it even has built-in error correction. So if you need to extract data from an Excel sheet, this video is for you. So let's take a look and see how it works. I want to show you two examples of where you could use the Xlookup function. You notice down at the bottom I have two worksheets, so we're going to start on the first one. And you can see this is typical order information that you might get. And what we want to do is up in this little table there is I want to be able to plug in an order number from this list. And when I plug in this order number, the Xlookup function will return to me who is the person, their last name, the variety they ordered, how many pounds, and the total sale amount. So kind of like querying a little database. I'm starting off with the first order number there, 1001, just so that when I put the Xlookup functions in there, I don't get errors to start with. And then once we do it, I can plug in other order numbers. Before I actually do it, let's take a look at the syntax of the function. The way this works is we say equals Xlookup, open the parenthesis, and we have three required arguments, one optional argument. The first argument is the lookup value. So in this case, it's going to be the order number. This has to be a unique number, right? Order numbers are unique. Think of like employee IDs, social security number, stuff like that. So that second argument is the lookup array. Where are you going to find that order number? So in this example, it's going to be in that column called order number. Third argument is now that you've identified the particular record, because you know the order number, you know where to find it, what information do you want the function to return to you? So for example, you might want the last name, and that's what we saw a moment ago. The fourth argument is optional, but I highly recommend you use it, and that is what happens if you enter an order number that isn't in the list? Well, if you don't use this last argument, Excel is going to give you a generic error message. It's not going to be very enlightening. So what you can do is say, hey, if this order number is not found, here's the custom error message. So you can have something like not found or order number not listed or something like that. So let's go do this. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to say equals Xlookup. Notice all I have to do is type in the first couple of letters and Excel recognizes what it is, so I don't have to type the whole thing. I'll just hit the tab key. So the lookup value, that's this. So this order number here has to match something down in there, comma. Now what is the lookup array? Now what you can do is simply select all the way down column C. But to make life a little easier, what I did in advance, I'm going to go to the Formulas tab on the ribbon bar, is I created range names for all of these columns. So what I'm going to do is over there, I'm going to click Use in Formula, and there's this range called Order. There it is. Notice I can't call it Order space # because space and a # are not legitimate characters to use in a range name, but Order is fine. So I'm going to say I'm going to find it in Order, comma. So what do I want to return? Well, I want to return the last name. So I'm going to go back to Use in Formula, and instead of dragging all the way down column B, I'm going to say, hey, find last name. You notice that last name, there is an underscore. So underscore is the one punctuation you are allowed to use in a range name, or you could have mixed capitals. So that's where I'm going to find it, comma. What if I enter an order number that doesn't exist? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a quotation mark. Whenever you have text in an Excel formula, you have to put that text in quotation marks. Otherwise, Excel isn't going to know what to do with it. It's going to give you an error. So I'm going to say not found, close a quote, close a parenthesis, hit enter, and there it is. There's Hayashi. Let's do that again for variety. So I'm going to say equals Xlookup. There again is that lookup value, comma, Where am I going to find that lookup value? Where do I find the order number? I find it in the column called order, comma. What am I looking for? What do I want to return? I want to return something from the variety column, comma. If I plug in an order number that is not in the list, again, in quotes, not found. Close a quote, close a parenthesis. Yes, indeed, and Hayashi ordered Ethiopia. Now, rather than doing this manually again and again 2 more times, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to double-click this cell. I'm going to select the whole formula. I'm going to copy to the clipboard, just escape out of it. And now I'm going to double-click in this cell for pounds and paste, Control V. And all I got to do is change this one thing. Instead of variety, I want number of pounds, so I'm going to remove that. Go up there and choose pounds. Yes, indeed, 5 pounds is what's there. And last time, I'm going to go in there for sale. I'm going to double-click and Control V to paste. And I'm going to remove variety. And right, I'm up in the Formulas tab on the ribbon bar. Use in formula, and I want the sale. Hit enter, and there it is. So now I could go and put this to work. So instead of 1001, what if I want to see order number maybe 1020? There's some more info. Maybe I want to see order 1032, and there it is, and so on. So this is great. So what if I enter an order number that doesn't exist, something like that? There, it tells me not found. Okay, let's look at maybe a little more simple example. Actually, I'll set that back to, like, I don't know, 1050 or something, just so we have that in there. So I'm going to go to the second tab, Xlookup 2. All this is we've got a list of all the order numbers. I simply want the function to go and find what is the sale amount. That's it. So I'll have order number and the sale amount next to it. And it's a good thing we have range names. Range names belong to the workbook. So, like, if I go up into the name box and I say, okay, let me see the order range, I click it, notice it goes back to the first tab because range names belong to the workbook. So, and that's a good thing. That's a feature. It's not a bug, because that way you could use a range name on any worksheet in the workbook. So we're going to say equals Xlookup. So the lookup value is right over there, comma, where do I find it? As we know, it's going to be in that order array, comma, what do I want to find? I want to find the sale amount. So I click up there and I choose sale, comma, if I have an order number that doesn't exist, again, in quotes, I'm going to say not found, close quote, close a parenthesis, enter it, and I'm going to get the autofill cursor over that dot, and I'm going to double click, fill all the way to the bottom. So now I can see the sale amount for every order number. So if I don't want all of that other information about last name, variety, whatnot, I have all that there. What if there's an error here? Maybe somebody typed this in and they hit an extra 0 or something like that. Then it says not found because that order number doesn't exist. I will fix that. And now we have the correct sale amount. If you ever use the older Vlookup or Hlookup functions in Excel, you can appreciate how much Xlookup is a great improvement. So until next time, my name is Bob, and this has been Between the Sheets.